Regarding court case so-and-so settlement, 4/13/2022 at 6:13 p.m. Mr. Bay, please find attached a fully executed copy of the release in this matter. A copy would also be sent to your P.O. Box. We are preparing the settlement check, which will be sent to your P.O. Box within the time limits in this release. Please let me know if you have any questions or would like to discuss. Thank you. They put their information there. That was on the 13th. This is on the 22nd. Regarding the same matter, settlement, Mr. Bay, per hour the parties execute a release, defendant so-and-so bank is sending you a check in the amount of $3,000, which will arrive on Monday, April 25th, 2022. Please see the attached cover letter and copy of the check. Please also see the parties execute a release for reference. Also attached is a copy of the settlement of dismissal that was previously sent to you along with the release. When you receive the check, can you please sign and file the stipulation with the court within 3 business days? If it is easier, please feel free to sign the stipulation and return it to me by email, at which point I can file on your behalf. Thank you for your help in getting this matter resolved. Please let me know if you have any questions, and please have a good weekend. Thank you. Your name. A previous video was shown earlier, about 2 weeks ago, regarding one settlement check, and that you can actually rinse and repeat it and do these things as a way of residual income, as a side hustle. Again, regardless of what you do, whether you have a 9 to 5, whether you work as a receptionist, whether you work at McDonald's, whether you're a small business who invests in real estate here and there as a landlord, you get monthly monies from your properties, or whether you flip, wholesale, whether you're a barber, whether you're a construction worker, this is something you can add to your source of income. It requires no physical labor, but the power of your mind, just pen and paper. The best part about this is, once you get it, it is extremely easy. You can have a turnaround of anywhere from 30 to 72 days. The previous one that was uploaded was from 2 weeks from when this suit was filed. And I think it's about approximately 2 weeks from the past one that I received, and this one that you're seeing. This world that you and I live in is not as full of woes as you think. See, what most people who study the operation of law, or at least intend to study the operation of law, what is usually done by them is they settle for less. They have the symptoms of buyer's remorse. They settle for less by taking short steps to reach something afar. Less is settled for by seeking quick gratification, which deep down they are not satisfied with, and they know it won't last. And there will always be some recourse. People settle for less by looking for some quick ways to do something, for someone to quickly give them something, without first understanding the process itself is education. The process is education. Once you are educated, you'll be able to enforce other processes. You can receive a process for someone all day, every day, some paper every day, at any point. But if you don't go through the process of education, you will not be able to put anything to use. People settle for less, and by virtue of that, they fail to develop skills that would actually make all the accumulation of information beneficial to them. People studying the operation of law will tell you it's their court, it's fraud. They don't do anything. They don't listen to anything. That's because they lack competence. Competency is the key. Education is the process. Once you get it, all these things we're speaking of, rules of evidence, admissibility of evidence, how to come in through proper status, all these things, and the intricate details and examples we show on the Patreon page of how it's done. But the generality on YouTube, all these things are applicable that you can make money with. Are there other remedies like discharge? Yes, there are. But we're not going to be speaking about that on YouTube. There are too many gullible people out here. But the other and corresponding aspect of that is, instead of you looking for some instant gratification and looking for someone to yell at that they're fraud, how about you know how to hold them liable? And when you know how to hold them liable through your competence and through the proper process of education, they will be running after you to give you money. They'll be begging you to dismiss cases, handing you monies, and you can rinse and repeat it because the system is actually perfect. The system is not perfect, and the system is fixed to the detriment of those who have yet to understand the process itself is the education. Once you're properly educated, you can do things in a manner that's going to be unique from the general mass. The mind always wants to solve problems, so it either does one or two things. It either creates the problem to solve or find an existing one to solve. People use their minds against themselves. That mind is to be used for greater things beyond backward motion. The issue that people solve by selling for less, of seeking some template for someone to hand to them, or expecting someone to owe them something just to hand them everything, that is settling for less. You are working to your own detriment when you do that. Believe it or not, most of the things that are uploaded in this YouTube page, let alone the Patreon page, just the YouTube page, is sufficient for you to even know how to do this if you pay close attention. The mind, your imagination, it is the greatest nation that exists on earth. That thing called the imagination, that's the greatest nation that exists in this earth. And if someone can somehow manage to conquer it by giving you misinformation, which 9 out of 10 people who come into this whole pen and paper thing, misinformation is what they run to. They get misinformed. And by virtue of that, their imagination is misused. The image in their mind is a picture of something that's disadvantageous to them, of something that's futile, of something that's painful, of something that's a catch-up, a playing catch-up. Where you just always expect them to be fraud, they're bad, they're this. Yes, they are fraud sometimes. Yeah, sure, they may be fraud. So go ahead and hold them liable. This is why education is essential. And misinformation is also essential as education. And those feeding you misinformation through social media and other means, they know the importance of your imagination. So misinformation is also essential also, because it will change your imagination and what you see in your mind and your reality. And you will get stuck in that world. Once your imagination and your mind has been invaded, you will be convinced that you got it, even if you're making a fool of yourself. Most people come into this whole thing about property rights, asset rights, substantive rights, how to protect yourself, how to hold them liable. People perceive it from the perspective of the other parties owing them something. And because the other party owes them something, they make themselves the victim. When you have a victim state of mind, someone will always owe you something. But when you have a virtuous state of mind of, I owe you something, that's when you begin to see solutions like this. When you have the virtuous state of mind that, you know what, I owe you an ass whooping on pen and paper, and it is my responsibility to give it to you. When you see rights and preservation of it from that perspective, rather than thinking someone owes you something and you being a victim and you trying to say you're fraud, you're bad, you can't do this, I don't owe you this, you will never really get farther, because that's exactly where they want you to be. They want you to be stuck in belligerent mode, will and passion without knowledge and creativity. is belligerence. You have all that will, but it's not being directed by compass of competency. That's belligerence. But when you but when you work with things harmoniously and you go through the proper process of education itself, not the process of filing some paperwork, but the process being education, they will be running to you giving you money. Because when you start to do things against these people, they will want none of you. They will want nothing to do with you. And the system is so fixed that if you have a state of mind of a victim, it will be fixed against you. The system is so fixed that if you have a virtuous state of mind that you owe them an ass whooping one way or the other, it would always benefit you. This is something you can do over and over and over and over as much as you want. On the Patreon page, we play the audio of what a $15,000 settlement check sounds like. It's not even as hard as you think. It's very simple. Here on YouTube, we've showed another settlement check in the past of them just giving you $3K. Here's another one. In that older video, we mentioned that, look, you can rinse and repeat this. Here's yet another example. They will come to you. They will email you saying, please, just go ahead and dismiss the case. There they go. They attached along with the email a copy of the check. Like, hey, look, we're sending it to you. Just don't do anything. Don't file anything in the case yet that's going to be detrimental to us. Look, here's a proof. We're not lying. Here's the money, okay? Description, settlement, payment. They will run to you with the monies. Provided the tracking information. The next day, it was delivered. Priority mail. Priority express mail overnight. They will run to you giving you the monies. As mentioned in the previous video, most people only seek information for two main reasons: to remove pain or in search of pleasure. For those of you seeking information in search of pleasure, this is for you. You being informed that education itself is the process. You will never get to this point unless you actually know the intricacies of the system that you think belongs to them. If in your mind you do not comprehend that this is your system and that it was in fact designed to benefit you, then you will forever be the victim. And to those of you who want to remove pain, why not make some monies while you're at it? The least that cannot be said is these things are not being shown to you. When videos about standard elements are shown, when videos about Constitution are shown, when videos about equity at law and the other intricacies of it are shown, pay attention, because those are the tools that you'll be using to get them to really shake in their boots. There's no point in accumulating information if you cannot have anything to show for it. There's nothing special about what is being shown to you. There are people who know how to do these things but would never tell you it exists. But they'll have you run around chasing your tail, being upset at someone. I'm here to let you know you can do this. There's nothing special about this. All it takes is just accumulation of the proper right of information in your mind, and to have the position of you truly being superior and you owing them something. And that's ass whooping on pen and paper. If you don't know how to do this, then you don't know how to compel performance. And if surely you don't know how to sue people, then surely whatever process you're trying to do, you will never be able to compel performance on it. Until next time, take care. Best of luck. On the Patreon page, we'll be going over the details of the documents that we use in the court and the ones involved with the private correspondences. We'll be going over the language of the laws and the intricacies and the details, the elements and standard when it comes to this particular subject matter. And While we're at it, we'll be speaking about many other things, many other intricate details that ties into the end itself and other matters when it comes to tort, banking, court, elements, tests and standards, copyright, things of spiritual nature, child support, trust-related matters, things about close corporations and how they use it, discharge, and the different types and the intricacies of how it works, privacy matters, so on and so forth. In the past, we've spoken about how to put your vehicle in a trust, about trademark, spoken about the details of child support, and we'll keep speaking about the details of child support because that's very important. Privacy when it comes to entities that people interface with, trademark related matters, the actual intricacies of suing people regarding public suits and private suits and private right of actions and all of those things, and a lot more, so on and so forth. Corporate veil, going after bonds, where to get certain types of bonds from, establishing a private profile number, which we've only hinted on, but we'll be speaking more of it in the future once other subject matters are covered, and goes on and on, filling out the GSA bonds, putting the vehicle in trusts. So come on over to the Patreon page. Take care and best of luck.